Let's go. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you all for coming here today. It's great seeing everybody on this beautiful sunny day. I appreciate you all coming out. No, we're really excited. Our last event was a great success, and we appreciate all of you that came and contributed with that. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. We got Alma here. He flew out himself. Very excited to share some news, and we're just stoked on you, Alma. So let's give Alma a warm welcome from sunny California.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
For those of you that don't know Alma Merrill, national speaker, good friend, awesome coach, life coach, business coach. You definitely want to get to know this guy. So we're just appreciative of you and our friendship and all of your continued support and belief in us. And let's rock this, man. Let's get going.
Thank you, brother. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys. Come on in. Come in, take a seat. Be our guest. Be our guest.
That's right.
Looks like we got a couple more coming in too. Are these stragglers for us over here?
We gotta get you back on the
All right.
here too, if you can. I screwed
I'll
up.
get it. You're good. It likes your face. That's why it follows you. All right. Guys, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm on my flight over here. I had some interesting thoughts. I tend to not get onto the Netflix and stuff like that on my flights. I like to sit and think, and that's where I kind of process and I really start to conceptualize what I want to have happen in the future. And it's really where I can actually see what I want versus what everybody else wants me to see. And I was thinking about, the consumption game that we have in life, where we're consuming information, or we're consuming thoughts, or we're consuming content. And there was this one content creator, and he said on one of his reels, he said, stop consuming and start creating. And I think that is a good lesson for life, is to stop consuming and start creating. Because once you start creating and you start pushing, your life starts to actually happen. Your life does. Your life starts to happen. When you're not consuming somebody else's content or somebody else's life, you can start to have these like emotional and mental breakthroughs. Ken and I and Brandon were in Miami, and I had just got done going to a event. It was a conference of a brokerage. It was their world conference. It was really awesome. Had a great time. Met with a bunch of people. Had some incredible relationships, some peers. And right after that, they were like, "Hey, do you want to come with us to this conference?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it." And so they got me an Explorer pass, and I went out there to Miami. And didn't it just feel like everything just kind of lit up?
Yes.
Everything lit up when we were there. Everything lit up. Everything aligned. Everything was smooth. Everything was powerful. We felt connected. And it's like, I hadn't felt that way since probably I was like 12 years old, right? Like maybe 15 years old. Like it was just dynamic. And I would have all these thoughts running through my head about where I'm going, what I'm supposed to do, where I'm called to be as an individual. And Ken and Brandon, like for months, they've been like egging me on, like, "Dude, why aren't you here? Like, why aren't you with us? Like, we love you. We want you to be a part of our environment, and we want to build something great with you. And we want, like, why aren't you here?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm here. I'm like, what do you want? I'm here, man. We're training together. We're doing this stuff, and I'm getting on your Zooms, and we're doing these classes and stuff." And they're like, no, we want you more, right? And I'm just like, man, it's good to be wanted, And so I'm just thinking about like all the processes and all the times we've spent together, and the dinners we've had and things like that. And And I'm out there, and they're like we're meeting people at eXp, and we're going to the different meetings, and I was like, man, this organization has like 100 times since I last investigated it. Because what I tend to do is, as I keep my mind open with organizations, and because I train all different brands and all different brokerages, I'm able to see what different brokerages offer and how their systems work. And because I go to different, I'll just name some off. Well, I won't name them off. I went to 3 different conferences within 1 week, and I train from brokerages from all of those different companies. And we're having these conversations, we're having dinners, we're going on yachts, we're out in the ocean, we're spending time together, we're having these mastermind meetings and talking to these incredible producers. And in life, when you start to kind of consume your own content, when you start to build your own environment, things start to open up. And that happened. And we were on our way to lunch on I think it was day 2. Or was it day 2? I think it was day 2. And we're on our way to lunch, and Brandon's like, so, hey man, how have you been liking this, and what's been going on, and what's going through your head? And I got Brandon on one side, Kid on the other. There's like, and I'm just like, wow, like, and they're just like, what do you guys? And I'm like, and I said, he goes, have you made like a decision? Like, are you just gonna kind of keep doing what you're doing, or like, where are we? It's like defining our relationship, right? Like, and I'm like, no, I've made a decision. And Brandon's like, huh, what? And I'm like, no, yeah, I've made a decision. I'm coming with you guys. And so I'm just like, oh man, yeah, that's like the moment I knew the moment is the moment that I had to say it. Like that was the moment. And it doesn't have to be in this like spectacular fashion all the time, guys. But acknowledge the moments when they're there. That moment was in the back of an Uber, and that was an amazing moment. And Randy goes, dude, what was it? Like, what was it about? Was it like the technology? Was it something you learned? Was it eXp? And I go, no. You know what it was, guys? It was you guys. It was you two. It was the fact that you have a vision and a goal and a plan. And I think some of it, you don't even know what the fuck you're doing, but you just know where you're going. And as long as you know where you're going, you don't have to know the how all the time. All you need is the what. All you need is the where. And the how will figure itself out. The how will refine itself. And so, yeah, I'm officially announcing that I'm joining smyl, eXp, and Veteran Home Services. Thank you, brother. Love you, man. Thank you. Get over here, you big lug. Love you, brother. I love you, man.
I had to have Brandon take me to the
Sure, you were in the back seat.
Yeah. No, Brandon was in the back seat with me.
There you go.
What happens in Miami also stays in Miami, all right? So anyways, it was great. It was beautiful. And I just want to say, like, it's not just them, all right? It's not just Ken, and it's not just Brandon. I have connections with many of you throughout the years here, and your faces and your stories and your desire and your intention and your desire for growth. And I'm really excited on your progression and your businesses and your intention to grow and to progress and some of the stuff that you guys will become without even knowing maybe that you're going to become it. And I see the power and the synergy in this office. And I know what it looks like, you guys, to go from a brokerage that is small to an impeccable force to be reckoned with. And that is what is happening here in this office. And in one calendar year, Camarillo and Ventura County and LA County and now Florida will not know what freaking hit them. They're going to be saying, what is in the water and what are you guys drinking and where are they going? Because I want to be a part of it. And I'm excited to be a part of it. This is a special time for me. This is an interesting place in my life. And I'm so thankful that I have people in my life that are willing to lead me, but also no leaders can be leaders unless they are willing to be led. And this organization is an organization that is built and based on leadership. You guys are leaders. Curtis calls this a leader factory. This is a leader factory, and we are growing the leadership here. And we have different ideals, we have different morals, we have different values, and yet we are combined. And we are moving together as one to build something wonderful and to build something open for all. And so I'm so thankful to be here and be a part of this organization and be a part of you guys. When I wasn't with you for like 2 weeks before the conference, oh my gosh, I missed you guys. And I do a lot of freaking Zooms. I just want you to know that. Like I train lots of different brokerages all over the nation. I've trained, 300-400 people at a time. We have these different companies that I jump on with every single week at multiple times. I do a very limited amount of one-on-one training and coaching. But man, I missed you guys when I wasn't on air. And I just knew I had to figure out a way to make it happen. And I'm just so thankful that we have. And I'm thankful for the invitation.
Absolutely.
Because it's beautiful to be wanted by people. It's beautiful to be valued by people. I value people. I value relationships. To that point, I just want to ask you guys, what do you value? What do you value? Have you ever asked yourself what you value? Have you ever asked yourself, what are my intentions? What are the things that truly make me motivated? What are your beliefs? What do you value and what do you believe? Because all of society is either won or broken based on your values and your beliefs. And so I would invite each of you, I did this once I was in West Palm Beach. And I was at this Tony Robbins event. And he's like, what do you value? What do you believe? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's easy. These are my values. These are my beliefs. And then I was like, no, wait a second. Those actually aren't mine. Those were given to me by somebody else. Somebody else told me what to believe. Right? And I'm looking back. Wait, who told me what to believe? And then I started looking at what did my parents teach me? What did my religion teach me? What did my peers teach me? What did, all of these things. I'm like, man, no, I actually gained that from my mom. Okay, all right, I gained that belief from my mom. Okay, and one of the first beliefs that came into my mind was, you will never be able to read. That was one of the first beliefs I remember from my mom because it was so intentional. She's like, oh, honey, it's okay. Here I am like 11 years old. And she's like, you'll never be able to read. I'm like, really? And so I put that into my head as a belief because it came from the most important person probably in my existence at that time. And so I believed it. And I certainly valued her opinion. And so I based my life going forward on that belief for quite some time until I realized, and some of you know my story of the Ajax cleanser bottle, where I'm playing in my kitchen at 12 years old, and I'm on the floor, and I look up in the windowsill above my kitchen sink, and I see the Ajax cleanser can. And I was like, Ajax Ajax. That's how you use it. And I'm like, I can read? I just read that. I can read. At 12 years old, I'm like reading my first word by myself. And I'm like, that actually happened. Okay, what else can I read? And I start running around from spot to spot, and I'm looking at different like 3 and 4 letter words, and I'm reading them in my house. And that's when I realized that was no longer a belief of mine. That was not a belief that I couldn't read, because I was doing it. And so I lowered the value of what my mom told me on that belief, and I no longer believed her, and I no longer valued her opinion, which was probably a good move, because she ended up just being an addict and neglectful, abusive, the list could go on and on. But what I learned from that, and what I've learned throughout life, is that when something is right, make a choice. All of the great entrepreneurs of our lifetime are great decision makers. All of the great leaders of our lives are people that can make a decision and grow. Make a decision and grow. Find your path. And I'm not talking about grinding. Grinding hurts. Hey, we're going to grind. We're grinding. Let's grind it out, baby. We're going to grow, grind and grow and grind and grow. If you're grinding something, it's not really going to grow. And so I would just challenge you to replace grind with build. We're building. We're not grinding, we're building. We're building something amazing here. And we're also inviting people to come. As leaders, we have a responsibility and a duty to our peers to invite them somewhere that you feel like they should grow. And so as this market is starting to shift and change, and as you start to see brokerages have struggles, therefore the individuals have struggles, and you feel like they need to be in an environment that is cohesive to their dreams and to just paying their fucking mortgage, invite them, bring them along, share with them, and share. Share with them.
No, I don't want to interrupt your flow. Is it okay if I ask a few questions?
Sure, absolutely.
So no, just curious. So first for you, when you speak about making a decision, why is that so important? And once you commit to that major decision, and this is, I guess, the question that I have for the group, what's the big decision that you have in your lives right now for the next step? Like, what is it that you think is that leap that you're afraid to make that decision and you're having a hard time committing full out with? But as you think about that, I want you to share what you've seen in your life when you've made the decision and then what's happened afterwards, because I'm seeing a lot of that right now.
Yeah,
personally.
definitely. Well, immediately just before making a decision, I felt like for me, and unless anybody else has something to share real quick, of decisions you've
or
had
is
to
anybody
make.
struggling with the decision that they feel comfortable with sharing with the group? Brittany's like, no, I don't have any big decisions to make over here. No, I'm serious, because this is, every day there's something major. You all decided to be here. For some reason you decided and committed, and we're grateful that you took the time to be here, right? But what is it that you think, at least in terms of, like you talked about your fears holding you back, what's that one decision that you can think of? And you don't have to share it. Definitely write it down for yourself.
Definitely think about it, yeah.
But this is a very important topic. Because I can tell you when things weren't the way that I wanted it for my business, I'm talking about when a lot of you have heard the story when Ken, I followed Ken to creating this and building this because of our belief in each other for 6 months. I was pretty bothered and upset and questioning whether I made the right decision. It took time. And looking over at Jen made the decision, same thing. She didn't know anything about eXp. It started growing on her about a year later, right? But she didn't know anything about it. But she knew something inside, and I don't want to speak for you. Why did you follow us without looking into it, without checking out the splits, the expenses, everything that's involved with eXp? If anything, you had reluctance to the brand eXp, right? Just speaking candidly.
I didn't know.
Didn't know much about them, right?
I trusted you two because of how much you've already helped me in the time that I did went over to Mexico before, and I just went full trust, 100%.
Right. Well, and that, because of somebody who has the type of leadership and the blind faith that she does, these are the things, just like with us partnering right now, there's just a certain awareness of what you want in your life and the people that you want to keep close to you. And when you're in that environment and you can trust and just take a chance and make a decision, amazing things happen. And so for me, Ken was the walking Bob Proctor, coming in smiling, happy-go-lucky, and I wasn't in that spot. And he knew, because I didn't build the reserves as a leader for my previous company to really have that cushion to feel comfortable. It was straight pressure. Nothing but pressure, and looking at, am I going to fail my family right now, right? So that's some pretty heavy, heavy stuff. And then one day you just have to wake up and realize, like, wait a minute. I've always had this, and I know I can do this. And I do believe in myself and my ability. And I know the business is out there. So stop focusing on the things I can't control, and what do I need to control, and what do I need to focus on? And that day I decided that I was not going to have to try to pull money from my house. I did. I had to pull some money from my house when I made the switch, because I needed to know I was replacing a 6-figure salary, and I'm not bragging about it. It's a big thing to walk away from, right? So I'm replacing that. So I got to pull money out. And then I'm thinking, am I going to have to pull more money out? Thankfully, it wasn't a crazy amount, but it was enough to give me 90 days. That's what I needed. Took me about 90 days to get one transaction, 6 months to really get that ball rolling. And now to the point of going to almost 19 million closed in the last 12 months, right? For this year, over 19 million. The momentum started, but I made a decision and I committed and I knew there was no other option. And it's out there. And I'm speaking to agents right now that they're telling me some pretty phenomenal years they've had over the last year. So don't listen to what everybody else is saying. You decide for yourself what you want, and you make that decision and watch what starts happening. And I'm telling you now, thank you, Ken. It was the best decision I've ever made, because now I'm truly creating the things that he taught me 10 years ago. I've seen opportunities, and now selling my own house, buying another property, right? And doing exactly what he said was, my home was in a certain price bracket and could only go so high. And now moving that equity from that house into the next bracket that has a much higher ceiling of appreciation. And what's crazy, if you know the Camarillo market, that 900 price point is really your target sweet spot right there. You could either pay a lot for something barely hitting 900, or watch something that's been sitting at 1.1, and we're going to talk about this at the home buyer class. But these are the things he taught me. And then when the opportunity presented itself, because I had to have enough business and everything else moving in that momentum, now I'm able to strike, right?
And none of that comes without risk. None of your reward comes without risk. Every one of us makes risks. All of us make risks in our life. We take risks. And not all of them are calculated. Like, if I were to calculate the risk or the change that I just made to come here, it doesn't make sense based on what I've developed where I'm currently at. It does not make sense. People are like, what the fuck? What are you doing? But I love to follow that inner voice. Follow the inner voice, and you'll see the response of your life. Follow that rhythm. None of us can have balance. Remember I talked about that last time a little bit, having balance versus rhythm? Balance is bullshit. Rhythm and following your inner voice and your intention is where life starts to really sing. Anybody ever used one of those singing bowls? Like one of those, or you've done this to a crystal glass on a wine glass? There's a moment in that process you'll sit there and do the same thing over and over again and get nothing, right? And then there's this like special moment when it starts to sing. And that is the same way in life with our intentions and with our desire. Life starts to sing when you're in good rhythm, you're listening to your heart and your mind and your soul, and your intentions are pure. Did you want to say something?
No, I'm done. Just
Please just make sure it's important.
No.
Would you like to?
I do want to thank Alma for doing this this trip and taking this trip and going on this journey with us and trusting in us. And I was always a dreamer as a child. I was a big dreamer. And Bob Proctor does talk about that. He's like, don't stop dreaming. You know, and like we have our kids and we have to tell them, hey, go to college, get a job. It's like, really? I don't know if that's the right choice anymore. It's so damn expensive out there, right? But I tell them, you got to be resourceful. You're going to have to like try something new. You're going to have to be an entrepreneur. But what happens is we're in these paradigms that whether it's from our parents, whether it's the society, whatever you're watching, whatever you're seeing, and most people have failed at whatever they've done. And they try to trap you with the same repetitive, this is the middle ground that you're ever going to achieve.
Your prescription for success.
Right. So here's the thing. It's natural to not want to do that. We have a defense mechanism. When something's uncomfortable, you shut off. Your body's like, that's not good. I don't want to do that. That takes work. I don't want that. I like relaxing. I like this, that, whatever. If you can get past that, which is uncomfortable, and break through that, those plateaus with whatever you're doing, whether it's dieting or anything you're doing, you'll start taking one step forward, one step forward, one step forward, and then you start realizing, wait a minute, where's the limit on this? How far can I take this? And I used to have people that were my leaders and would tell me, you can't do that. It's not possible. You can't do that. And I started looking at them going, you know what? You can't do that. Don't tell me what I can't do. Don't tell me what I can't do. At 21, I bought my first house. My parents moved away at 17 years old, left the country. I was alone, and it was hard. At 21, I bought my first house on my own. And I used to sleep 2 hours at night, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night. I went to college, I went to the gym, and I worked 60-something hours a week. Was not easy. And I would get into bed and go, oh my God, this is heaven. Like a tired that you never felt before in your life. This energy, what you have here is a gift. I was invited yesterday to lunch with a colleague of mine from a different company. He said, I need to talk to you. I said, okay, let's have lunch. I want to tell you something. I was at your last event. Since I've been at that event, I haven't missed the gym once. You changed me. Your energy of your office changed me. And that to me is the greatest gift, is being able to affect someone that way. I don't care about how much money you want. And let me tell you, for those of you that know, I just had a major tragedy. As far as falling off a ladder, I almost died. 20 days in the ICU. Completely almost died, was seeing the light. And then I'm looking at my son, who's 16 years old, looking at me about to lose his father. And I'm like, and I was already like, I had a good life. I've helped a lot of people. I'm good. And then I'm looking at him and I go, wait a minute. I got to go to that wedding. I got to be there for that kid. He's not grown up yet. And you could see the lump of him holding back his crying, looking at me like my dad's going to die. And I went, and I had to muster up energy that I didn't even have. Literally was given up. And let me tell you something. You guys have never been there, but as a man, you know how crappy it is knowing that you can't protect your wife or kids? It's not in my makeup. It's not who I am. I've always been a provider. It's just the way I was raised. And when something is taken away like that, but guess what? I found that strength to come out of that because I needed a purpose. This is our purpose here. We're not here by accident. These guys are not here by accident. We're going to go big places. Now, here's what you got to define. What does that mean to you? Because I'll tell you what, I could care less about what I own. I could care less about anything now, as far as materialistic things. I started thinking and I started realizing the people that were calling me when I was down and out and hurt, and the love that was pouring in from my clients. My brother's a doctor. He's a neurologist. We love Ken. And I wasn't answering my phone. My wife was going through my phone. Boom, boom. And I tell my, and she wasn't, and she was like responding, text message, text. What can we do? They wanted to show up. They were providing food. People, kids, my son's friends were calling me. Mr. Gretsch, we need to see him. So I will tell you this, the most rewarding thing for me is making a difference in someone's life. And my son just now said to me, Dad, I'm in college, I just graduated. I don't know what I want to do. I don't have a purpose. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know how to find this job. We were like searching. And I said, you think I wanted to be a real estate agent? I go, like, you think I want to be a real estate agent? Like, that wasn't my dream, right? But I realized I like helping people. And I love helping people. And Juan and I, right now, we have a deal right now. We're these people, $4,000 out of their pocket, they're buying their first home, $500,000 home, and they can't believe it. And here's the funny thing. We walk in to show them the house, and the wife pulls Juana aside and says, can they take the appliances out? She's like, why? We don't have any money. And then she says, no, they come with the house. And they're like, really? And then he says, the guy pulls me aside and says, Ken, this is my dream, to give this to my family. Can they take this away from me? I said, no, buddy, it's yours. It's going to happen. And they can't believe it. They can't believe it. To me, that's worth more than any other sale I'm dealing with. The very next time we showed up, the brother came along. Can you help my brother out? This is how you build your business. AI, tools, this, that, whatever, is a tool. Who you are as a person is going to make you in your business.
Don't be a tool.
Don't be a tool. You need to really, like I was just watching a thing on influence, and they said, how do you teach influence? Because a leader is someone who can influence, according to John C. Maxwell. Well, it's not taught in a script. It's nothing you can teach this and that. It just pours out of you. And if you're a person of integrity, and you say what you say, and you do what you do, and you're a man of integrity or a woman of integrity, people will follow you. But you gotta lead with and have a servant's heart. And I'm telling you. But anyway, I don't want to take up his whole thing. I just wanted to share my experience.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks.
I appreciate
buddy.
you, brother.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, give it up. So to that point, I just want to share with you guys a quick story on different transitions of my business. So when I first started in business, I started doing for sale by owners and expireds. Like, I had no idea that this isn't how you did it. This is just the environment I was put into. They're like, oh yeah, go over there, sit in that cube, make calls. And I did that and built this incredible business, 6 figures within a year or two. Now, the unique thing about that was then I started to grow it a little bit bigger, went through a divorce, lost everything. There's all these different seasons, right? Come back, in the middle of growing it back, remarried, two new kids. I have 4 daughters, by the way. 2 new kids, and growing this life up. And then in 2017, August 11, 2017, a buddy of mine calls me up. He calls me about on the 9th. He calls me and he goes, hey man, because we always used to go to the Sturgis motorcycle rally out in South Dakota. And it's the largest rally. There's over 700,000 bikers that come out for this rally every year. It is beautiful. If you like rumble, you like the mountains, you like gasoline and horsepower, the rally is the place to be. So we're like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm in. He goes, all right, we're going out. He said, I know you have you don't have a lot of time this year because you're working. He was my title rep. And I'm like, yeah, definitely. He goes, we're just going to take my plane up. And I'm like, cool, let's jump in the plane. I've been in his plane before. I've taken pilot lessons. Like, I get it. Let's go. So we get in this airplane on the 11th. And I'm just going to tell the short story. You guys can you can hear the long, hour-long story on my YouTube if you want. And I go to this little airport, and he's there, and the plane's there. It's really beautiful, just sitting out on the tarmac. It's got our, I bring my luggage. We're going to spend like one night and come back, but we're going to spend all day in Sturgis. And I have a buddy who's the curator of the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum, and I'm hoping he's going to loan us a couple bikes. And so that was just our plan. We're like, hey, we're just going to go. We're just going to go and make it happen. It's going to be awesome. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever adventure happens, right? And so we go to the airport, and we go to the airplane, and we jump inside like we always do. And he does all of his checks and all of his stuff, and he's like, okay, let's go. So he fires this thing up, and we start taxiing down the runway, and it's just this beautiful day. It was about 92 to 94 degrees that day. And I had just had this was perfect for me because I had just had a couple friends die. I just had my daughter's, my stepdaughter's dad, her biological dad, who was not in her life, had just himself in a tree. And there was just a lot on my plate. My friend Brandon, not you, thank heavens, he also offed himself. And then, I don't know, is that PC? Is that how you say it? When you just off yourself? So he offed himself. He unalived himself. And then my buddy Lewis, who was a dear friend of mine, who loved his life and loved his family and loved his daughters, he had a lung condition and basically suffocated. He died. And I'm just like, man, all this shit is piling up. I'm like, I could definitely use an adventure. Let's go. And all of this energy of like, oh, sweet, I can get past all the trauma that I've been like intaking the last several months. And let me make sure I'm on time. Okay, we're good. And so I'm like, let's go. We're like, taxiing down the runway, and the plane's like, and it's hot. So we have the door kind of cracked open as we're taxiing to let in some cool air. And just the feeling of just like this adventure, this excitement, like we're headed for the hills, we're gonna ride motorcycles, we're going to Casper, Wyoming first to like get the best steak in all of the Western United States. And so I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. And right before we take off, Nathan, who's also with us, he's 15 years old, he's sitting with me in the back seat. This is a 4-seater aircraft. And he's sitting with me, and he goes, Dad, we forgot to do emergency checklist. And so TJ's like, okay, yeah, cool, no worries, we can do that as we get up here. So we taxi, we pull over, and we do emergency checklist. And he goes, all right, okay, so if we go up and we lose power, I'll just try to lay it right back down. And if we go up too far, we'll just have to and we lose power, we'll just spin all the way around and come back and land. If we crash, we'll just, before we hit the ground, Denver is a person's name, is sitting in the front seat on the right-hand side. And that is TJ's brother-in-law. He goes, Denver, you have to kick the door open if we hit the ground. Because if we hit the ground and the door is closed, the airframe will tighten and lock us inside. And so your job, if we happen to have an emergency or we have to bail out, is you have to kick this door open. And Denver's like, okay, cool, no problem. I'm like, hey, Denver, how many times you been on a little airplane? And he's like, first one, man, first time. I'm like, oh, dude, that's sweet. You're going to love it, man. It's awesome. There's nothing like being in a private small plane. And so we fire up the engine, we get it full throttle, brakes are on full throttle, and he just lets it go. We start taxiing down the runway. And as we get down the runway, I hear in the microphone, I hear Nathan, because we all had headsets. that we could talk to each other. And I hear Nathan, his son, sitting next to me going, "Come on, baby, come on, lift, lift." And I'm like, yeah, it's going to. Like, don't even worry about it. Like, this is what happens. And I'm like, lift, lift. And he goes, man, huh. And you just see kind of this like uneasiness in Nathan. And I was just like, why is Nathan uneasy? Like, no big deal. And he goes, lift, lift, lift. Come on, baby, let's go. Up, up, up. And I'm just like hearing him in the headset. And I'm like, that's all right, bro. That's what these are for. And then I realized, wait a sec. This plane usually lifts a lot sooner than it's lifting. So that makes sense why Nathan's saying that. And all of a sudden the plane lifts. And I'm just like, oh, that felt good. And it just starts to climb, and it goes up, 50 feet, and then we get up to 100 feet. And I'm watching the altitude as we climb, and I'm watching the topography, and we get to 175, 180, and then we get up to 200, 218, and then we get 218, 218, 218, and I'm like, why are we not climbing? And then we hear a little, and I'm just like, what? That's the stall alarm. And TJ goes, hey man, wait, we're not climbing properly. Something's wrong. And I'm just like, what? And we're all just kind of like listening. I'm just hearing, right? Just observing. And TJ goes, this isn't working. We got to turn around. And I'm like, well, we're at 218 feet. If we turn around and we don't have lift, we don't lift. As we turn, we fall. And my first thought is, we're not going to be able to make a turn. And so we're looking ahead, and the topography is starting to raise to the south of the airport. And I'm just like, okay, we either have to land it, and we're looking around, there's parks and houses and industrial buildings, and I'm just like, this is not where we want to be to land. And he goes, I got to turn around, there's nowhere. And I'm just thinking, wait a sec, dude, there's something you're not doing. But I'm looking, it's full throttle, he's got his flaps correct, like everything's good, but the plane will not climb. And he says, I'm going to make a turn, I'm going back. And as we start to turn from 218 feet, the plane just starts to fall. And as we're making this kind of J turn, and we get around and we see this train on the tracks. And this train is parked, and it's a tanker train, the kind that hauls acids and fuels and things like that. And this happened to be a train that was hauling sulfuric acid. There was a little factory distribution right there. And we were headed right towards the train. And in that moment, I could tell you a story of about 45 minutes worth of thought that goes through your mind as you submit yourself to your Creator. Everything goes through your mind. All the things that you should have done, all the people you should have had conversations with, all the people you should have thanked, people you should have shown love to, people you should have forgiven, all goes through your mind. And at the same time, you're realizing that literally was it. That was my entire beginning, my middle, and my end. And as we started to perpetuate our trajectory into the train, we were about 15 feet above the train, and we caught lift. And the plane is between a building on our right side and a train on our left side with sulfuric acid. And we're flying just barely above this train. And the plane is bucking like this. It's going, and it's barely holding its lift. It's barely keeping us above ground. And just above us, we're about, at this point, the tracks are elevated, and we're just heading straight towards another patch of nothing good. It was a bunch of storage units, a bunch of extra space mini storage units. And as we come up to the storage units, I'm like, we can't land there. That's our next trajectory. Fortunately, we missed the train. Now we're going to hit the storage units. And as we come up to the storage units, down this kind of like corridor of train here and building here, I see in a clearing right next to the storage units a field between the storage units and a gas station. And I'm like, there it is. That's what we need. Yes. And I'm telling TJ, you got this, brother. You got this. And as TJ's battling to keep this plane in the air, we notice this object coming towards us, and it is a telephone pole. And I'm just like, oh, a telephone pole, telephone lines, awesome, power lines. Oh, this is great. And I realize you have the top line is a high voltage line and the lower line is a low voltage line. And you don't really want to touch either one of those with an airplane because they are very tight and they are very strong and they will rip you in pieces. And so the joy of seeing our out and seeing our victory in this field was quickly snatched away by the concept of these power lines. And I immediately just thought, oh yay, power lines, they'll slow us down. And then I'm like, no, they'll rip us in half. And we are going way too fast and way too furious to slow down enough to land in this field correctly, even if the power lines weren't there. But there was no way above those. And if we were to dip down under them, we would have we would have nosed down. And if you've ever seen a small airplane nose down really quick and they commit and they just explode. They just annihilate themselves. And as we get to these power lines, I see TJ just miss the power pole on this side and go right between the high voltage line and the low voltage line. He went right between them. And they are 6 feet from each other. So he threaded the needle of this plane through the power lines. We caught the left tip of the wing. It spun us sideways and we crash landed as hard as you could possibly feel a crash landing. It's like a roller coaster going straight down, but not having a track to respond, to answer to it. And then we just went straight down and we barreled into the ground. The plane broke in a couple spots on the wings. The wings folded, the whole front shroud came off, and we slid about 215 feet to our stop. And in that moment, all I could see was clouds. All I could see when I opened my eyes was clouds. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know if I was in heaven and I had just escaped this life without pain because I didn't feel a thing. And there's this unique calm that comes over you when your body submits to that fate. And it is beautiful. It was calm and I was comfortable and I didn't feel anything. And as I understood what this cloud was, right before we hit the ground, just after we passed through the power lines, Denver kicked the door open. And as we hit, the entire cockpit just filled with dust. And we were alive. And I see TJ kind of moving, and he's like, oh, he's struggling, he's kind of getting up, and he's the pilot, he's directly in front of me, in the seat in front of me. And I just see him kind of like dazed, and Denver just pops the freaking door, and Denver's out. Well, he already had the door pop, but he was out. He's out of the plane, man. He's like, whew. And he gets out, and then he kind of like comes back, and he's kind of like looks in, and Nathan, who's sitting next to me, bless his soul, he's like 15 years old, he just goes, ah, we crashed the plane, I can't believe we crashed the plane. Mom's going to kill us. We crashed the plane. Oh my gosh, we're never going to be able to fly again. Dad, I wanted my license. We just can't. Oh my gosh. And this poor kid is going totally manic right next to us. And I go to him and I'm thinking, yeah. And I go, Nate, we're alive. Get out of the plane. And he's like, oh, okay. And so he like jumps out and he gets out of the plane. And I'm like, TJ, and I hear this guy off in the distance who yells, gas pump, turn off the fuel pump. And I'm just like, TJ, fuel pump. And TJ's like, oh, boop, 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 right? And he turns everything off. And I just grabbed like TJ's laptop. I was just there and I just grabbed it. It's like, you don't even think, right? You're just doing. And I bust out and I helped TJ out and he's just bleeding from his face because his head came down and hit the yoke on this plane and split his eye open. And I'm like looking at myself like, what the that just happened? Did that really just happen? And my entire brain just like steps into this like massive manic state. And I realize I'm the luckiest fucker alive. I just became a 1%er. I just literally lived through something that nobody lives through. Hitting power lines, falling in the field. Like all of it was like, and then I realized like there's a reason. There's a reason for this. I just had an out-of-body experience. I just relented and released myself to my Creator. And then for the next, like the entire time we're there, people are asking me like, are you okay? Are you all right? And these nurses are rushing up who happen to see the plane go down. And there's neighbors and people who stopped off the side of the road that saw us go down. And there's airplanes flying overhead. And they're trying to find us, these airplanes. And I'm just like, wow, like, because when we started to go down, TJ radioed, Mayday, Mayday, 911, we are crashing, we are crashing. And at that time we hadn't crashed. I'm like, no, we can stop it, we can prevent it. But we did crash ultimately. And in that moment I realized that we can't control everything. We can't design every single thing in our life, but we can receive the gifts that people are giving us and that our life is giving us and that our Creator is giving us and that our future has to hold. We can receive all of those things. And so when they come into your life, receive them. Somebody offers you a simple thing as a bottle of water, receive it. Thank you. Yeah, I would love a water. Thank you. Even today, right? Brandon's like, hey, do you want a bottle of water? I'm like, yeah, I got one right here in my freaking bag. But you know what? I still accepted the gift because it's his gift to me to serve me. And as I'm walking around this crash site and the NTSB and the FCC or TSA and FCC, FAA, ABC, the EFG, and they're like all around and they're closing everything off and I'm standing on the other side of the crime scene or of the accident scene. And this guy comes up to me and he goes, oh my gosh, man, holy shit, that plane crashed. I'm all, I know, man, that's fucking nuts, man. Holy cow. And he goes, dude, did they die? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I only know what you know right here. And he's like, oh my gosh, bro, wow, that must have been crazy. I'm all, yeah, that must have been nuts. And he's like, well, all right, man. Well, and he's probably wondering, like, why is this guy standing here and why is he covered in dust? I'm just like dirty from head to toe from all this dirt. And I'm just standing here. And he's like, that was wild. And I'm like, yeah, that was wild. And he walks away and I just realized, like, now I have another opportunity at life. And I've been given a gift to be whatever I want to be on this next half. Because before that, I got into this rhythm of business, deals. And I was just looking last night on that month. I had pictures in my phone still. I have like 157,000 pictures in my phone. And I'm looking, you girls are like, oh, that's nothing. I got 157,000, right? But I'm looking on this phone from 2017, and my production was huge. I had already closed, by August, I had already closed like 40-something homes. I had 20-something under contract. And I was looking at these pictures because I would always take pictures of our production. And I was just like, wow, I'm making all this money. And what it did was it put me immediately into this reconstruction and this rebirth phase of, now, why am I really doing this? And it happened at the very moment after that accident. I'm standing at the crash scene after that guy's like, whoa, that must have been crazy. And this guy walks up to me and he goes, hey, dude, you were in the plane, right? I said, yeah. And he goes, I was the plane that radioed into emergency services for you guys. He said, because when I heard that you guys were going down, I scrambled my plane and took off. And I flew around till I found you crashed in the field. I was like, what? Really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, thank you. Thank you for that. Like, wow. Like, that's incredible. And then he goes, hey, you want me to give you a ride back to your car? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you do after this, you know? And TJ goes away in the ambulance, and Nate goes away in the ambulance, and me and Denver are okay. Denver's fine. He's like, oh, that's crazy. I say, hey, Denver, you just survived a plane. And I recorded this on my phone. I go, Denver, you just survived a plane crash. What are you going to do now? He goes, not going to find myself in a small plane ever again. Oh my. All right. It was awesome. And this guy takes me back to my car, and we exchanged numbers. I thanked him. His name was Matt. I said, thank you, Matt. You're awesome. And we became friends on Facebook and never spoke again after that. And he takes me to my car and he drops me off, and I went to my car, and I was in the parking lot. And before I got into my car, I knelt down in the parking lot. And I thanked my God for sparing me so that I could have one more moment. And I thanked my God for giving me the opportunity and the wake-up call that I needed to be able to go to the next level of my existence. And I promised my God that I would serve. And instead of taking, that I would give, and that by giving I would receive. And so I promise you guys that as you go through things in life, you won't go through that because I already did it for you. But no matter what you go through, you can attach a meaning to it of destitute and trauma and PTSD, which I'm not discounting any of that, because for the next year and a half, that's a whole nother story that I had to process and get through that I didn't know existed. I thought you had to be a soldier to experience what I experienced. But I saw the goal, and I saw the intention, and I saw my direction and what needed to happen in my life. And I read an amazing book by Brandon Bouchard. It's called Millionaire Messenger. And he taught me how to speak my story and utilize my events of my life to enlighten and to share and to serve people around me. And so as we move forward in this transition of me coming over here and being a part of this, allow me to serve you. And please take advantage of me. If you guys have needs and you have, processes that you're struggling with, or just don't hesitate. I'm here to be a part of this growth process and to contribute to you guys on the highest level possible. And I'm not going anywhere. This is a passion of mine. And I'm so thankful to be a part of it. And so, thank you.
Thank you, bro. That was phenomenal, dude. And I had more questions for you, too.
Feel free. I'm here.
No, just, well, thank you, dude. I wasn't expecting that. I appreciate you sharing that.
Neither was I, by the way.
No.
I had something else completely planned.
No, that was amazing. But I know you coach a lot of agents. I know you coach a lot of brokerages. what are the things that you're focusing on right now with this current market? What are some of the topics? Just to kind of share and give a flavor. Like I have an idea of what I think you're focused on, but I'd like, if you're good with that,
Yeah.
sharing that with the group.
Yeah, what I'm focused on right now is I am helping people identify the difference between what the market was and what it is. Because anytime a market changes or shifts, we're always about 1 to 2 years behind it all. And so what you guys have a thought of about what the market is currently, you're already probably 24 months behind it. Unless you've already identified some of the technologies and some of the groups that you need to align yourself with and the direction that you need to go in your business stepping forward. We are in a completely new era of doing business now. It is so social and so media. And it is so AI. And as we start to grow this brand and this brokerage and this team, and we start to become that force to be reckoned with in this area, but throughout the United States, you have to have a platform in order to make that a possibility.
Right.
And so I want you to look at this whole process at not just selling homes and retiring old. That was the old way. That was when we created a career out of real estate. I was thinking about what Ken was saying, and I'm like, Ken, yeah, and Brandon, you mentioned the how you gave up your salary.
Right.
The salary is the thing that companies give you to make you forget about your dreams, to make you forget about your capacity for growth, and to completely erase any concept of potential. They prescribe you an income and they expect you to stay there. So what I challenge you to do is to identify that this is an opportunity to grow massive amounts of income with very low risk. And then we're going to help you and train you guys to take that income and turn it into investments that start to pay you back. Now, with the eXp model, I don't know how much you guys know about the model of eXp and why massive producers are all coming here to grow, why entire brokerages are shifting their entire processes to come here, and why other brokerages from other brands are wishing they weren't stuck in a contract with their current brand. I have had conversations with these brokers, and they are sick to their stomachs that they can't leave and go to a cloud-based growth structure like eXp.
I want to add some things to
Yes.
that, if that's okay. So Alma, you touched on where the market was and where it's at. What do we see right now in the market? Because this is part of what Alma led, and thank you for sharing the story, but is the mastermind that we're doing every single Friday. And we met a very big producer who actually left another cloud-based brokerage who built her team to 2,500 agents in a short period of time. She left that brokerage to join eXp because of the potential with eXp. That particular model, most of them only go down 4 lines. Ours goes 7, right? The exponential growth really hits on line 6 and 7. The potential for that rev share is so much bigger and greater if you are a leader in that sense and can attract and grow and build. She's huge in Salt Lake. So she came over, we got to speak to her, and she does her masterminds every Friday.
She's different
that was,
than mine.
Yeah, another person, again, we walked through the halls and they all knew Alma. And Alma's introducing us at the eXp Con event. They were all eXp. He wasn't a part of eXp yet, but just his relationship. So think about where the market was and where it's at right now. And what I'm curious about, because we're going to talk about this in the homebuyer class later on today. And for those of you that don't know, my dad's speaking at 3 o'clock about veterans and applying for disability, and he's having a major impact on a lot of people. So agents, you're all welcome to be a part of that. There's definitely a lot to learn there for that. The homebuyer class, we're going to touch on what is happening out in the marketplace right now. We're going to educate the buyers versus what's happening and what's coming. Does anybody know some of the things that have recently been announced about the opportunity out there? Yes, April?
50-year mortgage.
50-year mortgage. Does anybody get excited about that? Or does everybody, because you'll hear mixed things about it. Where's the opportunity with the 50-year mortgage?
It opens up the buying opportunity for buyers that couldn't qualify prior, so it gives them a manageable payment.
Right? So it's another manageable payment opportunity.
It's a lower level of entry
Yeah.
to the
Correct.
marketplace.
Correct. So that's one thing. What else is being announced? Yes, Brittany?
I just saw today that Trump's trying to get, if you move, like you can take your interest rate with you.
Portable
loans.
Portable mortgages. If that passes, does anybody know what that's going to do in terms of movement? How many people do you know that you're speaking to right now that are not moving because what? Because they got so low of a rate, right? Well, if they have the ability to take that to their next property, who do you think would move? It's going to open the floodgates. So I want you all to remember and think back to when COVID hit, right? What happened to the market initially? What happened? Everybody was scared. Everybody was at home. Nobody could go out. Nobody could do anything. As agents, we had to do everything virtually for at least a month, right? So the buyers at that time, what was happening in the marketplace? Was it busy for buyers at that time when that happened? Was there a lot of activity? Were buyers purchasing properties? Does anybody remember where the rates were at? The rates were super low, and they went even lower. So just so you know, at that time, 7 million transactions. We had a boom when COVID hit. There was all this pent-up demand. All these buyers that were waiting and trying to get into something or couldn't get into anything because it was so competitive. Buyers, you had your best buyers who were all cash, couldn't get their offer accepted. They were one of how many offers? 20, 30 offers was a regular thing, right? You were paying 50, 100, 150,000 over asking price. What were you doing with contingencies to be competitive? Were you getting any repairs fixed? No. You were taking a roof that was at the end of its life, and you were so thankful that you got your offer accepted and you had to buy a brand new roof, right? What do you think's happening today for buyers? Is it a little more challenging for buyers to afford? 100%. Do you think there might be some pent-up demand? Do you think buyers are filling this dam up right now? So the second that one of these things happens, what do you think is going to happen to values and the demand and the competition with buyers? You think it's going to stay slow like this? We've seen this slow period for almost an entire year now. For almost an entire year. And the biggest challenge and the biggest hurdle we have as agents is we understand, because many of the homeowners are used to $3,000 to $4,000 a month mortgages. And we understand it's like, oh my gosh, how could I ever stomach a $6,000 a month mortgage? What's rent right now for a 4-bedroom property in Camarillo? $4,500. And there was no hesitation on that. You're probably paying $5,000 in rent. So has the cost of housing gone up? So is it somewhat the new norm now? So my focus as an agent, and I'm sharing this with all of you because the sooner you get out in front, this is what happens to the real estate industry as agents. We're always late to it, right? Once everybody else figures it out, now we're all doing it. You got to do it when it's hard. You have to help buyers buy when it's hard right now. What do you think's going to happen? Do you think you're setting them up for a crash? Do you think the market's going to crash? Do you really think that the values are going to come down and cut in half anytime soon? It's not. So why would we hesitate in leading somebody and putting somebody in a situation that now they get the house they want, in the neighborhood they want, with the repairs and the credits that you can negotiate right now, because 80 to 90% of the inventory is sitting. This is what we're going to talk about at our home buyer class. And if you're agents and you have buyers, feel free to bring them. I promise you, I'm not trying to take them. We're educating. We're empowering everybody to do better. Because like Alma said, when you serve others and you do it without expecting anything back, you continue to get blessed. And great things continue to happen. And I'm so grateful. Yes,
For
please.
the home buyer class, what are
Yep.
your thoughts on whoever brings somebody or whoever invites somebody, that they're also a presenter at that time? So if you have a buyer, then you also can present some information on the processes of home buying. Because one of the things I have learned is that through collaboration, we start to see a lot more growth. And really what I want you guys to be open to is the idea of presenting and speaking and talking and mentoring other agents, because this is really where this is all going. This is where you guys are headed, is being a force in your marketplace. And so having you part of that growth process and not having the 3 freaking bobbleheads up here doing their thing, right? But having you guys come up and participate and present on those topics for your buyers when they come.
Absolutely. Speaking on that first, does anybody want to speak today at the home buyer class? Feel free to raise your hands. I'm waiting.
Somebody say yes.
I'm looking at somebody right now.
Somebody say yes.
Come on. Betty would.
Ready.
You know, I've never heard your buyer
Home buyer class?
class.
Okay.
I think if I knew how you
What to
were
expect?
gonna present it, you can probably count me in for the next time.
Okay, well,
And
I appreciate
just
that.
so you know,
Yep.
there is a Toastmasters meeting that meets once a week here in Camarillo. You can
Mhm.
also find other Toastmaster meetings. I would highly suggest, if you want to go and start practicing so that you minimize your ums, your uhs, your, Xerox words and all that, really helps
It does.
to do that. And it's really fun, and it's way better than watching TV at night on
Okay.
a Tuesday.
No, great suggestion. So we are going to do what Alma's talking about, and I know Jen's led her home buyer class, had a successful home buyer class in the past. So Jen Walksmith, she's stepped up, and if anybody knows, once she starts talking, you can't get her to stop, right? Yeah, she's our quiet leader over here. She's our one-on-one leader, right? But awesome in front of groups, and she's built an amazing client base. So she throws great events. But yeah, anybody who wants to, we're going to start doing it definitely once a quarter, probably every month, where we're going to start having home buyer classes. Buyers need to be the focus for 2026 coming up. I'm telling you right now, you're still going to get plenty of listings. You still want to focus on listings.
I'll still teach on this.
And we're still going to teach it. And listings are still powerful and bring buyers, right? So you want both.
And if you don't have buyers, you should be filling that gap with listings and with.
But we're going to focus on quite a bit, and I've done it before, and he's hiding in the back, or he's texting somebody who's doing some deals right now. But Jeff Baum in the back,
Making money right
those
now.
those of you that don't know, and he's helping me and the team with at least 3 or 4 buyers right now. He's a big part of the success in terms of just our clients, how he works with people. If you don't have somebody who is a stud like Jeff, it's a critical component to being a good buyer's agent. You have to have somebody who has a reputation like that and who knows it. And then his wife, Jessica, is phenomenal. She's the processor. As Ken said, she's the brains of the operation, right? She's extremely talented. Jeff's just pretty sharp himself as well. And it's just so easy. It's so easy in terms of working. You need that. It's so critical to getting offers accepted. And we're going to talk about that a little bit in the home buyer class later today. No, Ken, you had some things?
No, you just said it all. No, I just want everyone to be clear of something that we just keep forgetting. What do you think the biggest hurdle of the last year was in sales? What do you think that is? I'm going to tell you right now. It's us. It's us. It's us not educating and taking the lead and helping people realize the opportunities. It's us living in fear. It's us not listening to the media, people that are bombarding us with clickbait and stuff that's not true. During COVID, I was getting yelled at because I was trying to work. And it was me and like 4 other realtors. And I asked people this, and I said, hey, do you consider yourself an important part of this transaction as a realtor? And they go, yes. Do you think that someone needs you to help them through this process? Yes, absolutely. Do you think that they know what they're doing when it comes to their finances and what, how to buy a home? No, they don't know. They need me. So why is it when there's an emergency or a crisis, everyone just disappears? When they need you to step up at that time. This is that moment. This is that moment. Mm-hmm. And like Brandon was saying, these buyers have opportunities they've never had before. Right. You can buy the interest rate downs. You can get credits for repairs. You can pick the home that you actually want to own instead of the leftover. So take it, you lead. Today, we had a session, I was coaching Sean on how to rationalize this to someone. There is no time ever that in buying when someone purchases a home that they lose money. Period, if they keep the house. Ever. The worst mistake when you talk to true leaders that are investors, the worst mistake they ever made was selling a home they owned. Ever. Never, they never sell, the true investors. I had a house I sold 8 years ago, $650, bought my house $710. My house is worth $1.8. That house now is $1.1. That if I would have kept it, I didn't even need the money and I sold it because I didn't want to deal with it. There is never a time. So when you're meeting with these people, you give them a 10-year span, 1 to 10. Yes, things are going to go down, they're going to go up. But Brandon said it, $4,500 in rent. You've been renting for 3 years. Do the math. It's like $200,000. You don't have a tax write-off. Average tax write-off is $700, $800. 3 years times 12. Another 50 grand probably. And guess what? You missed out on 3 years of appreciation. That mistake of not buying cost you $600,000 to $700,000. That's the kind of stuff that you need to tell people when you're meeting with them.
So that example that Ken gave, do you guys do that with your prospect and your clients? Do you ask them those kinds of questions? I've heard April do it, so I know she does it. But what he's talking about and the way he paints the pictures with words and knows how to have conversations and ask questions, that's how he gets people to change their paradigm. Because we all have a comfort, whether it was with a previous job, broker, whatever the case is. That's why when I was asking, what's the big decision you need to make? We should know personally or think about it. We shouldn't just think that everything's okay. We're programmed as we talk about these paradigms. There's something right now. Does anybody know why we eat 3 times a day? Have you guys seen that? Did you see the post on that? Why do we eat 3 times a day? Do you know who came up with that? Guess who came up with that? It's in the early 1900s. Guess who made it? Huh?
The food manufacturers.
Rockefellers.
Well, who'd you say?
General Mills.
No. Well, they benefited from it. General Mills did.
Was it Rockefeller?
Rockefeller's, I believe it's either Rockefeller or JP Morgan. It's one of the early, I think it's JP Morgan. But basically, it's somebody who had a lot of money, so started programming and putting out, does everybody remember the pyramid for the food pyramid? Do you know what it said on there in terms of how much protein and how much carbs you should be eating? Everything was to make you dependent on eating sugar and carbs and all that first thing in the morning, so it became an addiction. They taught us that, we believed it, and we grew up thinking, well, you better have some mashed potatoes, better have some vegetables, better have some grains, right? We got to have our milk. Milk's good, milk's bad, right? I don't even know, I still drink milk. I've grown up thinking milk does the body good. I believed it for a while.
Lactose-free, but it's got to be
Let me suck in real quick. Let me suck in real quick, right? No, but anybody knows there's nothing better to me than a cold glass of 2% milk if you got to get the right kind. And actually Trader Joe's 2% milk. See? Because when I was really little, I remember my mom mixing powdered milk because we got government cheese and powdered milk, and she'd mix that with the real milk. And I'm like, what is this? She's like, it's just in your cereal. I said, I still can taste it. She was trying to make the milk last longer. So she'd mix it with the powdered milk. So I knew at a very young age what good quality milk was versus the powdered milk, right? Knowing that, it became a big deal. So to me, seeing 2% milk in my fridge warms my heart, and I know, like, that's success. Life's good if we got 2% milk in there. If we don't, you can ask Danielle. She'll say, oh my God, let's go get at least a small carton because we won't drink the whole thing because I'm the only one typically drinking it. So getting back to it, we are all programmed to a certain type of level of comfort. You have to realize that. And you got to understand that we are being programmed and we are consumers. and we are doing things that feel normal, but we have to look at what it is that we want. And the second we decide and make that decision and commit, it's amazing what starts happening. And I've learned it, and I'm doing it, and I'm not saying it to brag about it. I just know because people will say you're crazy on the fact that you wrote an offer on a property without listing your home. I told the other agent in 10 days, I will get my house ready, list it, and in escrow in 3 days in this market right now where everything's sitting on the market. And her home took 40 days to go into escrow. And do you think it happened?
Yes.
Well, you all saw it. It happened, right? But it happened because I have friends like Jen who show up an hour before the photos are due, and she's all, send me some photos, send me some pictures, right? And do this. So she does. So she comes over and starts staging my house. Without it asking anything, without anything, she just steps up and comes over and starts doing it. Just these kinds of things happen when you have good people around you that care about you, and she's trying to help our family get to a better spot with nothing tied into it other than the goodness of her heart. Do you think she's blessed and gonna continue to be blessed? There's nothing I can do to ever repay that. As simple of a gesture as that can be, right? So we got enough. I don't need to get choked up now. There's already been enough of it here. But thank you, Jen. Thank you for just being you. And everybody else, and all of you know if I'm not acknowledging it, just thank you for all being who you are and being here today. Let's take a little bit of break if you guys are good. My dad's gonna be on here at about 3 o'clock. We got some food, subs just showed up. Cielo should be here for some coffee, restroom breaks. We wanna do at least 20, 30 minutes in between. What time are we at right now? All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you guys. Good job, brother.